guys, in today's video I am going to be showing you books that have inspired my writing. I got this video idea from Sarah LeBrun on her channel. I'm going to tag her in this video. This is an offers tube tag, and Starlight is rubbing on the books. Yes, darling, just don't knock them off and don't fall off the bed. Come here. Hello. As you can see, Starlight is my little assistant. I love you, darling. Go on. Okay, so we're going to get started on the books that have inspired my writing. And yeah. Okay, number one is the Bible. I feel like this is self-explanatory. Alright, the Bible has inspired so much of my poetry and stories, and like most of what I've written in like during my time as a writer. This has like been my inspiration, and especially this Bible, because this is a Bible I started reading when I first became a Christian, and it is beaten and worn is because my sister had this Bible and I had this Bible, and that is why it is so beaten up and worn. And it is filled with highlights, and this has definitely inspired me, especially my poetry specifically. And yeah, I would not be where I am as a writer if it weren't for this book. Well, I wouldn't be where I am as a person and too if it weren't for this Bible. Starlight. Yes, and Little Women. Okay, I feel like this is self-explanatory, but here, I'm gonna read the back cover of it. The girls gave their hearts into their mother's keeping, their souls into their father's, and to both parents they gave a love that grew with their growth and bound them tenderly together by the sweet tie which blesses life and outlives death. Pretty Meg, Tomboy Joe, Shy Beth, and Vain Amy, the four March sisters, are as different as sisters can be, but more devout and loyal sisters you'll never find. For though the March girls fight, tease, nag, and scold, as all sisters do, they do so with the knowledge that nothing is as precious as a sister's love. Discover the magic of family in the first part of this classic novel, cherished by young girls everywhere. Okay, so I love this story mainly because Jo L. March is a writer. However, I have been told I am more like Amy, and honestly, yes, I am more like Amy. I will admit that, but I loved seeing Jo as a writer in this book, and she really inspired me to become a writer, because I always wanted to be a writer as a kid, and a lot of my inspiration came from this. I actually kind of want to write a story similar to Little Women, but like it's with my siblings, because Louisa May Alcott, she based the story off of stories that actually happened with her and her four sisters. And honestly, I really want to try to write a story based off of my siblings and our adventures that we had. So this is like one of the best books that have ever helped me with my writing. Okay, let's see. Heidi. This is a book that I had to read for school, and also I had read to me for story time. And this book, oh my goodness, I love Heidi. I actually watched the Shirley Temple movie of it, and I loved the Shirley Temple one of it. I just loved Heidi because I related to this little character, because she was a goofball. She loved nature, or she loved animals, and she was very curious, and she was very hyper and silly, and that that was me as a kid, and I related to her so much. Okay. No, okay, so this, mainly 2 of the books in this have it. This is a compilation of Frances Hodgson Burnett's 3 books, The Secret Garden and The Little Princess, and Little Lord Fauntleroy. Sorry, I'm dyslexic, so sometimes I will mispronounce words. But Secret Garden, I loved it because I loved like the secret of like having her own special little garden, being like with her friends, and Colin and Dickon. And I loved it because I loved gardening. My family had a garden when we lived up north, and yeah, I always wanted to find like a secret passages and like secret places always fascinated me. Like when a book has it, I'm just like, oh yes, I love secret passages, and I like love mysteries and secrets. And The Little Princess. Little Princess. I watched the movie with my sisters, and we all loved that movie, and it inspired my writing a bit, I will say, because like she was such a good character. Like she was so kind-hearted. She did stuff for people just out of the kindness of her heart, and that inspired. And a lot of my characters are like that when I'm writing. I would like to think so. Yes, they have flaws, and she does have a few flaws in this, but she was very kind-hearted and cared for people, and I think that's a thing that we all can look up to. And I think especially Christians, we should be kind-hearted and loving to others. Okay, and Clementine, the Clementine book series. This is Clementine Friend of the Week. I meant to grab the first book of the series, but this series really also inspired me. My sister introduced me to these books when I was little, and they are so funny. I loved reading these books. And Clementine, she's like this goofy little kid. Like if you ever watched Eloise, like the Eloise movies, imagine Eloise just in an apartment, like an apartment building. Here, I'll read this. I'll read the back of it. It's Clementine's turn to be Friend of the Week. She gets to be line leader, collect the lunch money, and feed the fish. Even better, the other kids will make her a booklet full of things they value about having her in the class. After reading Margaret's booklet, Clementine begins to get nervous and a little nervous, and she has to have a great booklet now. Unfortunately, she has a lot of astounding ideas for getting the kids to write great stuff about her. Unfortunately, just as she's working on the best, something terrible happens to her beloved kitten, Moisturizer. Worst of all, exactly when she needs a friend and the most, Margaret lets her down. Or does she? Pennyback's writing once again brings creativity, humor, and sensitivity to Clementine and her world. Black and white line illustrations grace the book, capturing the child's personality and varied emotion. A must-have. Fans will be in for another fun serving for their favorite girl named after a fruit. School Librarian Journal Star Reviews. Okay, this book is, if you have like a kid, and this book is amazing. And I related to this girl because I was a little goofball like her as a kid, and here like the illustrations, and I always wanted to I really want to write a kid's book one day. I love writing kids stories because that's what I read as a kid, and I want other kids to read my stories. And Starlight's laying on the books. Starlight, I need this. I love you. The Boxcar Children. This is one of my favorite books. So I used to hate reading and writing. I know that's that's like a big shock back on this channel because most of my stuff is about reading and writing, as well as crocheting and knitting. But I love this book. I actually watched the movie of this and then read the book. That was like mostly what I did. I would watch the movie and then I would read the book. But the book is better. The book is better than the movie, but the movie has a special place in my heart. But this book is so good. I loved it because as the kids, like they live in a boxcar, and me and my siblings, we always would like pretend to be like in woods and like live in like cottages and like have like pretend to have herb gardens and stuff like that. Here's like what the back says. One more night, 4 children stood in front of a bakery. No one knew them. No one knew where they had come. No one knew where they had come from. Sorry, dyslexia. Henry, Jesse, Violet, and Benny are orphans. Determined to make it on their own, they set out to find a safe place to live. They discover an old red boxcar that provides shelter from a storm. Against all odds, they make it into their home and become the Boxcar Children. I loved reading this as when I first started really getting into reading and if you have a little kid, this is a good book. And also, it has inspired a lot of my writing, especially like if a kid's like running away in the story and like going to a new place, and finds like a shelter and makes it their home. I love those kinds of stories. Okay, and last but not least, this was in my Christian book recommendation video, as well as the Bible. And I think Heidi was in that one too. If it wasn't, it was in the second one. I don't remember if that was. But Holly's Heart. These books are so good, and they're by Beverly Lewis, which is one of my favorite Christian authors. And here's what the back says. Best friend, worst enemy. Holly has the best friend in the whole world, or at least she thought she did. Holly Meredith is turning 13 on Valentine's Day, and she can't wait. Maybe this will be the year she'll visit her dad in California, where he moved when her parents divorced several years ago. Since then, Holly has grown very close to her mom and little sister. She has a best friend she can share everything with and tell everything to. Well, almost everything. Holly and her best friend, Addie, were having a great 7th grade year. But now, a new boy in their class has them fighting over him. And this is one thing the girls can't share. According to the loyalty papers they created a few years ago, one of the girls has to back off. Should Holly forget about Jared to save her friendship with Addie, or should she force Addie to stay away? When Holly's secret plan backfires, she discovers the true meaning of friendship and learns the miracle of forgiveness. Now, I also love this story because Holly is a writer, like I was, and she wrote poetry and mysteries in the series, and that's like what I wanted to write. I don't have the books with me, but also Jenny McGrady, the mystery novels, Jenny McGrady. Sorry, I cannot speak today. Those inspired me a lot because I really wanted to write murder mysteries because I love mysteries. I love like figuring out who did it, why, what was their motive, what did they have to gain, how did they do it, how did they have the opportunity. I love figuring that stuff out, and I just love putting the puzzles all together for that. And also I love writing poetry. When I first became a Christian, I started writing poetry and I loved it. I loved writing poetry, just praising God with my poetry and writing it for God's glory. So that is all the books that have inspired me to write. There are definitely like a lot more, and some of them I do not have anymore, or because we had to sell them when we moved from up north to down here. But those are the books that I have read. Now let me know in the comments below what books inspired you to write, and also feel free to do this video. Oh, it's an offer to tag, so I'm gonna tag you to also do it, and make sure to watch Sarah LeBront's video of this. She had great 8 books, and honestly I really want to read those books that that inspired her writing. And yeah, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and have a great day.